Hi guys, before I start, I'd like to thank all the subscribers, new subscribers coming on board. The Instagram story ends, but the day does not. The sunset on the beach, but it is rising in New York, London, or even Sydney. The greatest freedom of the digital nomad working from anywhere, it is also heaviest chain. You may have left the office, but you have taken the boss with you. He lives in your time zone. The laptop lifestyle often forget to talk about the laptop. The constant gowning pressure to find the next project, the next client, the few might be tempted, aspire, but the screen is still a spreadsheet. The freedom you came for can begin to feel like a different kind of cage, one with beautiful view. And what of the community? The promise of a global tribe in the city built of transactions. Relationships can feel transactional friendships and forged in the heat of shared adventure, but often have an unspoken expiration date tied to the stamp in the passport. It is a revolving door of hellos and goodbyes, and in the crowd of 100 people, it is surprisingly easy to feel completely alone. Every action, there is a reaction. For every named who arrives seeking a cheaper, easier life, there is a local community that feels the impact. For too long, we have been looking at the city as a backdrop for a Western story. But this backdrop is someone else's home, and their story is rarely told. We ask them, what is it like to see your neighborhood change so fast? What happened when the price of latte in a normal coffee shop is same as a family lunch? Is this a welcome boom or a cultural erosion? The answers are not simple. They are complex of opportunity, pride, frustration, and quiet sense of loss for the country once was. And then there are the mechanism of dream, the visa run, a bit bi-monthly game of bureaucratic snakes and ladders, the quiet doom of an anxiety that comes living country of temporary passes, the pressure to project success online. Even when you are struggling, the dream can be fragile, and when it cracks, the fall is a long way down. Eventually, the question comes for everyone. It arrives on a quiet Tuesday morning or in the middle of the crowded night market. The illusion of control shatters. The fantasy of the effortless life evaporates. And the question is no longer, how do I stay? But why? all where ease, learning begins. For those who stay, something has to change. It is a stripping away of the non-essential. The parties, the posting, the performance, it all fades. The fantasy gives you way to something more durable. Reality, you learn to have joy, not the novelty, but in the routine. You learn to speak a few words of the language. You find your person, your place. You stop being a tourist. Anyway, start just maybe to build a life. And that when you realize what the search was always about. It was never about the cheap coconut shakes or the infinity pools. It was a search for autonomy, for a life lived on your own terms. It was a search for the invention of wealth, away from what you have in the bank and towards what you have in your day. Time. Guys, a smaller break just to ask you to share and like and subscribe. Okay, let's go back to the film again. Time, the one currency you cannot earn back. Thailand is not utopia, nor it is a trap. It is a mirror. It reflects back whatever you bring to it. If you bring hustle and exploration, it will give you the burnout. If you bring superficiality, it will give you the loneliness. But if you bring curiosity, humanity, and a genuine desire to connect, can offer you profound gift. The promise of Thailand is a destination. It is a question. It asks you what you truly value. It focuses you to build a life from scratch, and in doing so, to figure it out who you really are when no one is telling you who to be. The search does not end here. For many, it is just the beginning, and perhaps the real destination was never a place on a map, but a state of being.